Hi fam, Radical Wellness Breakthrough Group. How are you today? This is a personal member request conversation. Now, I posted just before this a stress fight-flight conversation, which ties nicely in this. I'm going to narrow the focus, and we're going to talk about some of the causes of tight stress in the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments of the neck and shoulders. And even in the hips, I'm going to add that because there's a connection there. So I want to start with clarifying what fascia is, because fascia is where that tightness and that tension and that pain is. So fascia is really misunderstood. We think of everything as muscle pain, but really it's not muscle pain. The muscles themselves are no more strong or capable of handling themselves than this headphone is. This is like muscle tissue. What holds that together is it gets wrapped in ligaments and tendons, and then it's wrapped in a fascia, which is like a liquid crystal sleeve that holds all of that together. And then inside of that is all these nerve endings, and when we have nerve signals like I want to move my finger, it moves in the fascia and it tightens and lengthens the fascia, so it moves that fascia. Now, I mentioned liquid crystalline structure. This is what they call the fourth phase of water, which is a huge, long, drawn-out discussion. The fourth phase of water is not H2O, it's actually H3O. It's a third hydrogen molecule, which is why hydrogen water, one of the reasons why it's important. So there's this understanding that our bodies are these like dumb, lumbering physical structures that are only piloted by an intelligent brain. We are seen as meat sacks, right? But we are actually this incredible mental consciousness. The human body is made up of many different things, but fascia is a huge part of it. It is the most perceptive and profound part of us. Fascia is what holds the heart muscle together. It is perceptive because not only does it read or get signals from your reading the environment, but it reads the environment too and responds. Have you ever subconsciously been around somebody who was angry and you felt yourself like tightening up, like pulling away? You're not consciously doing that, but the fascia and your subconscious are going, not safe, need to get away. Okay? Fascia is constantly evolving. Our understanding of it, at least, is. And it's a multi-dimensional construct. It's got memory and it's got emotion as well. So when you hear me talking about physical aspects as well as emotional aspects, we know based on all kinds of research that this is the case. Fascia is memory and emotion. It holds memory of experiences and events. I learned about something called unwinding a number of years ago, where when the body has a physical trauma, car accident, a fall, something like that, the energy of the kinetic energy of that fall or that impact gets wound up into the fascia and it locks up. And that's why we're like, oh yeah, I had a car accident years ago and my shoulder's still really tight, is because all that kinetic energy is held up in that memory. And maybe even the emotion from that car accident, if you never had an opportunity to process through that. It carries this unique metaphysical signature and has some control over our actions as well. You'll see people handle things differently. Look at people dancing in a crowd. If you look at 20 people dancing, they all dance differently. Even if you give them the exact same dance steps, very seldom are they exactly the same. And that's because their fascia has a different consciousness and memory and emotion. So the signals are processed in this third dimensional realm that we're in, and the fascia responds. Now, this fascia is a web that's found throughout the entire body. It's a crisscross. It has 1,000 times more nerve endings. 1,000 times more nerve endings than the brain does. Think about that. It is within every system, your body's organs, glands, muscles, blood vessels, etc. We are made of fascia. The fascial web is a 3D, it's 3D, three-dimensional. In other words, it's got form. And it happens during fetal development. It kind of wraps around us like this knitting, and it holds everything together, and it runs from your left foot all the way up and over the body to the right foot. Remember I mentioned connection between the hips, the shoulders, etc. It runs from left to right. If you've ever had a chiropractic adjustment, they adjusted your left hip and it affected your right shoulder, there's an example. Sometimes we find that right hip turns into left foot pain. That doesn't make any sense, right? Except it does. And the spiral of the fascia is like an S pattern throughout the body. So there's all these S's that flow through the body. This fascial tissue emits signals all the time, and it translates that external stimulus into internal response, and it takes the subconscious energies of what's going on, and it becomes a physical reaction. So that's like the, if someone drops something and you jump, right? That is an external stimulus that created an internal fascial response. Millions of units of signals are sent from the fascia in the brain every 3 minutes of movement. Millions in 3 minutes. All of this input allows us to either tighten or relax in order to stand, walk, bend, twist, do exercise, dance, whatever it is. Fascia is more important for movement than the musculoskeletal system. It's far more important. It integrates feelings, emotions, experiences, energetics, and kinetic information from our environment and our experience. It's how we survive and adapt to the world that we live in. So it's important for you to get an understanding of this. And you can look up, if you go to your internet search and look up fascia, you're going to see this. You're going to see this fascial system. We don't fully understand it yet. We know far more than we did. And there's a growing body of knowledge coming. So let's talk about inflammation within the fascial system. What drives that inflammation? Chronic stress. That's why I did the stress video. And I'm not going to elaborate more than that. I encourage you to go and take a look at that one. Emotions and trauma. And I want to talk specifically about that here in this video. I have spoken with several myofascial release technique individuals and chiropractors. Women like to hold their stress in their neck and shoulders and head, and I think I know why. Let me give you some examples. And a lot of this is coming from this book, Metaphysical Anatomy. Incredible book. If you want that level of research available at your tips, you can buy it right off the major bookseller sites. Here's some of what is in the fascia, and I have personal experience with almost all of these. Clenching and bracing for the impact, bracing for someone to yell at you or to judge you or to tell you we did something wrong. Holding on to things and avoiding letting them go, avoiding dealing with things. Bearing the weight of the burdens of others. I'm not your brother's keeper. I'm not in charge of anybody else. But you bear the weight and burden of other people's situations, thinking you're helping them. You try to let me take that off you. Like I hear people say, well, I wish I could just take that burden from you. Don't do that. Because you take it onto yourself unless you know how to process it properly. But even then, their burdens are their lessons in life. It's important for them to experience and go through it. So don't take them from what they might be learning from that experience. Be with them, support them, help guide them. But taking that burden on is not going to help you. Feeling weighed down by your responsibilities. Ladies, anybody feeling weighed down by your responsibilities? Full-time job, full-time household, kids. Always willing to take on more. That was me. Give it all to me. I'll take it all. You feel your worth is measured in how much you can do for others or how much you can accomplish. I got paid for performance. If I did well, I got praise. If I didn't do well, I got judgment. And so I was willing to go to ends and lengths to perform. You feel your worth is measured by how much you can do for others. Listen to that. I repeat that again because I think it's important. Your worth is not measured by how much you do. I even think we have institutions that teach us that, right? You feel as though how you can help others is by shouldering their troubles for yourself. You feel taken advantage of and that leaves you resentful. You can't or won't ask for help. That was me. Feel you need permission from authority figures to validate yourself, to determine your success. Seeking out approval, seeking ribbons, walking across the stage. None of that actually validates you, but we seek out that external validation. The love offered to you came with conditions or compromise. That was my pay for play. Actually, performance. That was my pay for performance. But it came with conditions and compromises. Often accompanies a pattern of throat or thyroid issues, often accompanied with people-pleasing, low self-esteem, and unable to express yourself and set your boundaries. The right side tends to refer to the men in your life. The left side is related to the women in your life. The shoulder blades, right? Not moving in your power, feeling unsupported in being in your power. Someone in your life challenged your confidence. You feel controlled or under attack, often by a feminine figure in your life, but not always. You feel humiliated by someone in the family close to you. You feel as though your wings were clipped. Now, it's often related to emotions and trauma, but may also be current stress, not necessarily past things, of life, and unable to relax in between higher stress periods of time. So here's a few things you could look to do to begin to resolve this stress and tension. Splashing cold water on your face, sucking on an ice cube, drinking ice water, cold showers, and cold plunging. I know, it sounds terrible. Breathe your way into it and do it. You're not going to believe how much tension you can release in a cold plunging session. Qigong jumping or body drumming, drumming, so you might look that up. Qigong jumping, incredible how. And if you're Qigong jumping at the knees and then you kind of lock your knees a little bit and you bounce on your heels, it actually releases more stress and tension. Movement without purpose or intention. This is not dancing. This is just letting your body move and express itself. It doesn't look pretty. Sometimes it looks weird and odd, but okay, let your body do that. Herbs like ashwagandha skullcap, that's one of my favorites. Bacopa, which helps with the brain, and lemon balm helps with deep relaxation. Essential oils, again, lemon balm, lemon, lime, vetiver, patchouli. Vetiver and patchouli both are great for grounding the nervous system. And just, it's like this. Yeah, it's like this. I don't have to perform. I can now relax. Frankincense and black spruce. Frankincense for masculine, black spruce for feminine. Those to name a few essential oils. There are many more. In Bach flower remedies, rose of Sharon, aspen tree, rock rose, and impatiens, just to name a few. You'll find there's a lot of Bach flowers that can help with the release of these emotions. Breathing, breath work, 4, 7, 8 breath. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, you release for 8. Deep breathing to your diaphragm. So if you're breathing up here, you want to put your hands on your belly. And when you breathe in, you actually expand your belly and let that air flow all the way down the lungs. And when you breathe out, you come from the lungs up to the top. It might take some practice to get you there. Crystals that can be helpful for calming. Selenite. Selenite is one of those like super cleansing crystals. And if you're carrying around burdens from other people, if you're carrying around judgments, darts and arrows, cords and connections that are draining the life from you, selenite can be helpful in clearing all that. So you can get a little wand of it. You just kind of run it all over your energy field, carry it in your pocket, etc. Rose quartz, love and compassion for yourself, and yellow calcite, another one of my favorites. Time in a low light or a dark room. Now, this one can be difficult because oftentimes if we're in judgment, especially of ourselves, it's hard to be alone with yourself. If you're going to do this, I would recommend you have your breath work, have your essential oils, and go to the Get Dirty Day, the first one, and have that phrase, that release phrase ready for you, because what comes up, you're going to want to release and not re-embed. Okay? Being in that dark space, doing breath work, doing some of these relaxation techniques can really help to reset your nervous system. And it's okay if you sleep. Set the intention that you're going to release and relax and let go while you sleep, and do that. Foods that can increase inflammation: artificial sweeteners and processed sugars. So high fructose corn syrup, white processed sugar, and things like Splenda and things along those lines. Gluten can increase stickiness in this fascia. It's the glue in the gluten that makes it sticky. You may have some in moderation. I would limit the gluten and its access. You can even take an enzyme formula. There's one from a company called Enzyme Energy called Carbo Enzymes. If you want a link to those, message me and I'll be happy to give you that link. Avoid nightshades like tomatoes, eggplant. For some people, peppers as well. They can increase inflammation. Increase your intake of berries and fruits, vitamin C and minerals. I talked more on that in the stress video. And if you're low on minerals, increase your magnesium and trace minerals. Baja Gold Salt, Celtic Salt, and Pink Salt. And LMNT is a great supplement for electrolytes. The magnesium I like is a biglycinate formula from Nutrimetrics. Again, message me for the link. Paired with a vitamin C formula, 4,000 milligrams, that is acerola cherry and camu mixed. That's one of my favorites. Cultured foods like sauerkraut, things along those lines, give you the prebiotics, the probiotics, and B vitamins. Methylated B vitamins can be an important part of this process. And I mentioned the magnesium. For some people, part of the reason they don't detoxify well, why they hold on to things, is because of something called MTHFR, which is a genetic polymorphism. It's a change in the genetic performance of the epigenetics. So it's the switches that sit on top of the genetics. It lowers your ability to detoxify. It indicates an extreme deficiency of some nutrients. It varies by person to person. So it can be homozygous, heterozygous. There's several different polymorphisms. You can test for these. So if you would like a link to the test that I recommend, message me or put a comment in the community chat, because I'm sure many other people would love to have it. And it can require specific nutrients in specific forms. So when I do the muscle testing class, if I've already done it, go and look and learn that. But if I haven't, come in on the muscle testing class, because it's going to help you to know what to take when and how much. Daily habits. Now, I am former fibromyalgia-like symptoms. Neck, shoulder pain was an issue for me for a quarter century, a long time. These are some of the things that help me. So I start my day with a cup of warm water with a little bit of salt in there, a couple of pinches of salt, some lemon juice, and deep breathing. I want to give you a note that we tend to deplete oxygen when we're sleeping and increase carbon dioxide. And that lowered oxygen brings your mood down. People don't wake up happy, in part because your carbon dioxide is up and your oxygen down. So doing the breath work I talked about, you can rewind and find it. Doing the breath work I talked about and I talk about in the stress video can help you to come out of that low oxygen state, and you can wake up a little bit happier and more relaxed. While doing your breath work, pay attention to your body, and wherever it's tight, focus your attention there, and that will send the breath there. Focus on relaxation, focus on letting things go. Move your body with no agenda. Your only intention for moving your body is release stress and emotion. Sometimes it's, I get to this point and I hold it and I wait until it releases and then I let it go. But moving your body without the intention of like performing or anything like that, that can release stress. And as was said in the movie, oh my gosh, with Julia Roberts, I just lost the name of it. Eat, Pray, Love. He says, smile all the way down to your liver. You want to smile. Smile actually has this like neurochemical chemical cascade. So you get an increase in dopamine, serotonin, all these uplifting hormones when you smile. And it takes fewer muscles anyway. Your fascia doesn't work as hard to smile as it does to frown. Detoxification is necessary to reduce inflammation and the elements of depletion. Go and look for my detox videos. If they're not up there yet, message me and let's create a program for you. It should be part of your daily routine. You can do it through teas, herbs, essential oils, food choices. Even movement can help to detoxify. You can undertake specific detox as often as you desire, monthly, quarterly, etc. But you must undertake specific detox. And it's going to be part of this, like I said, that upcoming session. So, pain. Let me recap this. Clenching, bracing, not moving. So, take a deep breath and moving your belly. So, bring your hands down to your belly button and breathe in. And then when you breathe out, focus on the area that's tight. And feel it flow through there. The more you do it, the more you will tune into its effects. Bodywork, massage, myofascial release. I prefer the Barnes method of myofascial release, Qigong and Tai Chi. Human Garage has an amazing program for relaxing and releasing fascial tissue. So the 45-minute release program, there's a handful of others. Chiropractic can be good. If you're very, very tight, activator method chiropractor, you might try heat, cold, massage, then chiropractic. You'll have an incredible reaction. Who or what are you bracing from? So there's probably some subconscious work to be done there. There's some releasing to be done. That's going to probably require a session. If you're watching this and the group's been going on, I will teach that over time, but it's not any of the early lessons. Heavy Epsom salt soaking baths, 3 to 4 pounds of Epsom salts. Don't be shy. Magnesium float tanks are incredible, and they help you with sensory deprivation, which actually begins to reset your nervous system. Salt caves, meditation, yoga, gentle yoga. Go ahead and cry, scream, punch the pillow. Rage therapy is all the thing right now, and I love it. Scream it, write it down, burn it, give it to a balloon, send it away. Release yourself and others from blame, grace. Oh my gosh. I read a couple of books on grace when I was starting this process, and I didn't realize how little grace I gave myself and others. So grace is important. Release the darts and arrows from others, the judgments and energetics that can stick to a person, the cords from other people, draining energy. Again, I'll teach about this, but we can do it in session as well. Intentional relaxation of your shoulders. Hold tight. Breathe and relax. Do that again. Even do it this way. Move those shoulders. Move them. Get out of that tight, tense position. Especially if you work at a computer like this, you're going to want to move in the opposite direction. Embodiment and meditation. Embodiment is that not the only intention of that movement is to move. Let the body move. Forest therapy, spend time in the green. And grounding, which you can do all those things together. That's your bare feet on the ground, resetting your energetic system, realigning with Mother Earth, which is the frequency that we are meant to be at anyhow. Morning sun exposure. In your eyes, on your chest, on your arms, get that 15 minutes of morning sun exposure. Plants that can be helpful for pain. Arnica, and I like a 30CH. Take it as often as you want to reduce that inflammation. And Hypericum, if there's nerve pain related to it as well. 6C is a pretty good one. Those are the 30CH and the 6C are dosage levels. But they are not, there's no addiction, there's no overdosing, nothing. Take as much as you want. Birch oil can be helpful for pain. Castor oil can help for pain and inflammation and detox. Wild lettuce, one of the best pain relievers out there. You may be able to harvest it in your area. You may be able to find an herbal maker who has it. Magnesium spray or gel is incredible. That can be used for spot application, as can any of the essential oils I mentioned before. Wintergreen, lemongrass, frankincense. There's a long list. I mentioned more in the stress lesson, and lemon balm, which you can do in a tea, an essential oil, a tincture, a salve. There's lots of ways to get lemon balm. It will grow in your garden in a moderate climate, and it won't let go. It's a good grower. In the emotions piece of it, fear. If you go to my Get Dirty Day episode 1, I'll give you some really basic tips on how to release some of these emotions, just as a starting point to get the more acute peak challenges out of the way, and then we'll dig deeper over time. Fear, disappointment, irritation, frustration, dread. That's that bracing and clenching. Empaths. Are you one who takes on the energies and the moods of everybody around you? You've taken on those emotions and you have now put them in your own body, and it's coming out as that tension and tightness. And especially if you live with people who are emotionally dysregulated, like I did and do. E-field protection and defense may be necessary, which is a completely separate class coming up soon. So I mentioned ways to reduce the inflammation and pain in the muscles and ligaments. I mentioned Arnica montana, hypericum, birch oil, magnesium spray, deep Epsom salt baths with essential oils, tangerine, stress away, lavender, vetiver, patchouli, turmeric. If you're going to take turmeric, I would muscle test for it. It doesn't always work. In my case, it wasn't a good choice for me. So be careful about these broad brush, everybody should take it things, because that's just not always the case. Acai Advanced Energy, which also comes from Nutrimetrics, has been great for reducing inflammation. Berries for snacks, human garage movements, qigong movements, lymphatic drainage. There are lots of at-home techniques. I found the best ones on Instagram, candidly. Bodywork, myofascial release and massage, chiropractic detoxification of subconscious emotions and traumas, as well as detoxification of stored toxins. My recommendation for a 15 to 45 minute daily routine: start your day with that cup of warm water with sea salt and lemon. Go outside for 15 minutes of your morning sun exposure in your eyes, on the torso, on the arms. Ground yourself barefoot on the ground while you're out there doing it. You're going to get double whammy, double benefit. Invigorating breath work. So nasal speed breathing, dragon breath. I do 10 counts, 3 rounds each. Those can be really invigorating. I love those. I mentioned the Qigong movements. You can do those while you're grounded. You can do lymphatic drainage movements while you're grounded. And I mentioned the human garage, which you can do 2 to 5 minutes of selective movements that work best for you, or you can do the entire routine. These all can combine together for a 5 to 15 minute daily routine. Do all of this before you get your coffee, before you stimulate. And you know what you'll have is your stimulation from that caffeine, especially if it's a good quality coffee, will last much longer and be much more even keeled, and your body won't go through this spike, drop, spike, drop, spike, drop. Gratitude and laughter. Smile all the way down to your liver and give gratitude for all of it. For the sunshine, for the grounding, for the trees, for the supplements, for the food. Set an intention for the day that is focused for happy. A happy list is great. Anywhere from 3 to 300 reasons to be happy. And release all of the emotions and decisions you made for the previous day about yourself and your situation. Start with a clean slate, and then proceed to eat a mostly protein-based meal with fruit and limited carbs afterwards. Starting the day with protein tends to have a more even, keeled blood sugar situation, and if your carbs are limited, then your blood sugar isn't affected by that. All right, my friends. So, what part of the daily routine are you starting with first? Or are you going to dive right in? Let me know what you're thinking, what you're doing. I want to hear all about it, and tell me what your results are. That is so helpful for you and for this community. I love y'all. Take care.